So in this video, we're gonna be testing out some Ohuhu Markers. They sent me their 168 marker set, as well as this pastel set. I'm not sure how many is in here, but oh, that's cute. So we have 48 markers in here, and oh, that's a lot. We're gonna be swatching a lot today. I've never used markers before, so this is gonna be super interesting. I'll be moving on to a voiceover later on, just so I can like explain myself a bit better. Oh yeah, they also sent me like this drawing pen set, which is really nice. I'm really excited to use the brush tip. I love brush pens, and this is gonna be quite interesting. So, if you are coloring on thin paper, please put this pad between your coloring sheets to prevent any... Oh, that's nice. They have this little thing. So yeah, I think it's time to swatch these. Okay, so I did the swatches first. This took me way longer than expected because I had to rearrange all the markers in the bag because they came all mixed up and I wanted to have them color-coded properly. So yeah, that took some time. There were just so many colors and I didn't want to accidentally swatch the wrong colors, but that still happened. There were like 4 or 5 that I ended up switching or mistaking, but that's fine. I've never worked with alcohol markers before, so I have like 0 expectations with how this is gonna go. So let that be a disclaimer. This isn't a review video. I'm literally just trying out alcohol markers for the first time with Ohuhu. I'm just gonna share like all my thoughts and what I learned in the process. I also didn't know what paper to use, and I really wanted to give the markers like their best shot, if that makes sense. A lot of the time paper has a lot to do with how an art material performs, so I tested out a few colors on different types of paper I had lying around. I have a few sketchbooks here with varying paper qualities, and I ended up choosing this Moleskine sketchbook I've had for like 2 years. I never started it because Moleskines are very expensive and I didn't want to waste the paper, but since these markers worked really well with this paper compared to the rest, I thought I should use it, and it's been 2 years, so maybe it's time. I even sketched like 1 or 2 things in here just to break in the sketchbook. Now for the actual drawing bit. I didn't know what to draw with these. I came so unprepared, but I guess that's part of like trying something out for the first time. I didn't want to start off with anything too complicated because again, I've never used alcohol markers before. I've tried water-based markers a few years ago, and they just didn't work for me, so I guess I ended up discarding the thought of ever using all types of markers in general, so I have like 0 experience with markers. And I also didn't watch any tutorials on how to use these, nor did I read the little booklet that came with this set. That might seem like a bad idea to a few people, but I really wanted to go into this not really knowing anything and just experience and play with the medium with fresh eyes or whatever. After filming though, I did look up a few tutorials and I read the little manual that it came with, so yeah. I decided to draw this pink drip cake I found on Pinterest. It seemed like a pretty easy and cute subject to draw. It's something that I don't think I can easily mess up, so I thought it was a good idea. I made sure to choose ahead of time what colors I thought would look good because I didn't want to waste the ink and the paper in the sketchbook, so I thought I should be just, you know, a little, I don't know, prepared isn't the word, but you get what I'm trying to say. And I also had this ivory paper that felt a lot like the paper in the Moleskine sketchbook. It had the same kind of color and texture, so I used it to make another swatch card because the colors looked a little different with the ivory versus the white that came with the original swatch cards. The colors I used for the 2 drawings in this video, most of them were from the 168 set because I found that a lot of the colors in the pastel set were also in the 168 set. The color selections were pretty similar to each other, so I didn't really keep track of what colors I used from what set, but I hope that makes sense. Also, I noticed in their color selection, most of them were on the cooler side, well, at least for me and my eyes. There are a few fluorescent ones as well, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I don't know why. I wasn't expecting them to add brighter colors, but there are a few in here, so that's pretty cool. One of my favorite colors is probably GY5 Absinthe. I don't know how you say it, but I really like how warm the green is. I would definitely love to see a few more warm greens in here because most of them are pretty cool. So yeah, as for the colorless blender, I tried using it, but I actually don't know how to use it. I sort of experimented a little bit beforehand while I was swatching everything, and it just wasn't working for me. And maybe that's because I didn't watch any tutorials or anything, so that's my bad. But I'm definitely gonna have to sort of learn how to use that because I actually really want to learn how to render with these. But yeah, I didn't really approach this in a very technical way. I wasn't here to sort of try to review the markers. I was just kind of playing with them and it was really fun. Not gonna lie, I was a bit worried about streakiness at first because, as I mentioned a while ago, I've only tried water-based markers and those tend to leave a lot of streaks, and that's the main reason why I stepped away from the medium. However, these markers blended out really nicely after they dried. They came out just a tad bit lighter as well, but I think these are normal qualities that are part of alcohol markers. I think. I could be wrong. I'm just basing that off of marker art I see from other artists. Alcohol markers don't seem to come out as streaky as water-based ones, so I don't know, that's an observation I found. Also, one of the things I was actually a bit worried about was the smell. Most markers in general, at least ones that I've used, tend to have a really strong kind of pungent scent, but these were surprisingly okay for me. I have a very sensitive nose, but these didn't really I guess hinder my enjoyment while using them. They still have a bit of a scent, but not to a point where it kind of irritated my nose or whatever. I was also a really big fan of these drawing pens. I ended up using 1, 3, and the brush tip. I think they helped sort of bring everything together in the end. The page looked really empty underneath, so I added all the ingredients needed to make the pink drip cake. I've been doing this a lot with most of my sketches just to fill up the space. You can see that from the drawing on the left where I did the same thing. This was super fun for the cake. Now for the second drawing. I wanted to draw a person, and I tried channeling all the compassion and patience I had for myself since I'm trying these out for the first time, but I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too happy with how the second drawing turned out. I did a few really quick color thumbnails before going into the drawing. I don't do this very often, but again, there was no way to erase the colors once I put them down, so I wanted to make sure that the colors at least complemented each other. I kind of wish I chose a different color palette though, but again, it's done, it's over. I started off with a sketch in a red colored pencil again, and I went in immediately with the skin. I wish I was more intentional with the general strokes I was making while coloring. I think that would have made it look a lot smoother. Also, I used the brush tip a lot more. I like how squishy and bouncy it felt. That's a really weird thing to point out, I guess, but it was like the perfect kind of squishy bounciness for me. I switched to the chisel tip for areas where I wanted there to be more streakiness. No, that's not right. Not streakiness, but I guess shape and texture. Like, I wanted there to be more evident lines, so I did that with her top. And I was so brave for choosing like a dark color for the hair, but I usually gravitate towards darker hair colors because, well, I have dark hair. So I think for this drawing I could have used something a little lighter. I would have been able to sort of manage the opacity of the color, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I wish I chose a better hairstyle as well. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm just torturing this drawing. That's just kind of how I would sort of critique my own work. Anyway, one last thing I wish I did. I should have tried going in with the fine liners first before coloring. I think that would have helped the drawing look a little more structured. I know that's what most people do, and there's probably a good reason for it, but while I was testing these out, I wasn't really thinking about it that much. I wasn't thinking about how I would like go into testing them. I just really wanted to play with them. So despite everything I say about how the second drawing specifically, I actually had like a lot of fun with the whole process of using these because I'm not the most patient artist, most especially when it comes to traditional art. I hate waiting for paint to dry, and I hate how oil pastels sort of like stick to my hand and everything. But with these, I got to color really fast, and I had so many color options, and everything was like fun, and it reminded me a lot of watercolors. Obviously, watercolors and alcohol markers are different, but for me and my experience, they kind of sort of felt a little similar. But yeah, I didn't think I'd have so much fun with these. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to using them more and playing with them more. I actually drew a few more doodles and drawings after filming, so I'm getting lots of use out of these so far. Also, another thing, the price, in my opinion, I think is so good for like the amount of colors you get, plus the quality is really good for how much they actually cost. So yeah, it's just, I feel like it's such a steal. I feel like these would be really great as gifts. I don't know, I just can't think of like anything I don't like about them. Oh, okay, now I know. A few of the colors actually sort of leaked, like maybe 2 or 3. Some of the ink, I guess, sort of seeped out of the cap. So I'm not sure if it's just my set. It didn't really bother me that much because I just had to sort of wipe the cap. It didn't really like change how the markers performed. But yeah, I think that's all I can say. Another thing before I forget, Ohuhu is releasing like a new really big set of markers that has 320 colors. So I wonder what colors they added in. I'd love to see like a few more warm browns and warm greens because I just found out that I really like drawing food traditionally with alcohol markers. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Thank you again so much to Ohuhu for sending these to me and sponsoring this video. I'm gonna leave all the links in the description box so you can find them. A special thank you to all my patrons for supporting my work and being amazing. Thank you for spending time with me. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Bye everyone!